What's up guys, my name's Tom, welcome back to another video. Here back for round 5 of my F2 2020 career mode as Robert Shwartzman. If you guys haven't watched the previous round, it was at the streets of Monaco. I highly recommend go check it out. But you can see in the championship we are very comfortable at the moment as we head into round 5 at the streets of the Azerbaijan. So another circuit, and you can see that we're starting practice with very tricky conditions, but over the course of this weekend we're going to just use the slicks because there's not going to be any rain interfering in both races and on qualifying. So I'm doing this practice session, to be honest, for nothing. I'm just having a little bit of fun. Azerbaijan is already hard in dry conditions, so in wet conditions is even harder. I didn't want to crash because I don't want to ruin my confidence. But anyway, if you enjoy my content, make sure to smash like and subscribe to if you see plenty more Formula 1 content as we are getting close to the 1k subscribers. Let's try to get that ASAP. And at the end of the practice session we were 1.2 seconds slower of the car ahead of us, which it is Louis Delatraz. So not really confident, but it's not the end of the world because I wasn't even pushing that much. It was on wet conditions, and it's going to be full drive for this qualifying session and for the feature race and the sprint race. But we're waiting a little bit. You know that I always do the lap at the end of the session, but you can see that at the moment the top 8 is separate by less than a tenth of a second. Okay, Matsushita is exactly a tenth away of pole time, but yeah, things are getting really close in this qualifying session. Going to be really hard to get pole position because I'm not feeling that comfortable with the car at the moment around this track. I always feel comfortable in an F1 car, but today in this F2 car you're going to see that I'm not going to be not really confident, with everything, with the corner speed, with the braking zones. So it's going to be a real challenge to get up the pack in this qualifying session and in the race. We'll see how the pace it is. That qualifying generally the AI is a little bit faster than the race. But anyway, we're going to a cross line, and for the time being we are in last place, 1.1 seconds of Artem Makalov in the B18. So really it's not looking good for us. We're still in last place as we get a little bit wrong into turn 1. So hopefully we're going to improve in this lap and we can get up some positions.
Slower than Mick. Mick is faster.
Very sketchy in these final proper corners because you have to lift a little bit in these F2 cars, especially on the race when the car it is heavy. But unfortunately it seems that we're not going to improve on this lap. We are 1/10 down on our previous test. We're going to cross a line and we're going to start this Grand Prix, the feature race, in last place. Oh, that is a big hit for us, and thankfully our teammate, our championship rival, I should say, Matsushita is down in P8, but you can see that I was 1 second slower than Roy Nissany ahead of us. So yeah, I'm a little bit destroyed, making Lord Mahavir proud, But anyway, we're not going to give up. We're going to the race. Never say never in F2. Everything can happen. So without further ado, let's go to the feature race for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Baku never fails to disappoint fans of Formula 2, so hold on tight, the cars are set on the grid, and any moment we'll be starting today's race. Welcome to Azerbaijan. This is not your usual racing circuit. It provides one of the most complete tests for the field. Sector 1 sports a set of 90-degree corners around the block, if you like. Sector 2 gets even tighter with the old city walls. Sector 3 just turns 16 to negotiate, and then 2.2 kilometers flat to the floor, full throttle in 6th gear, all the way to the end. Joining me today is a man who is no stranger to going fast, Davide Valsecchi of GP2 2012 fame. Great to have you here today, Davide. Are you enjoying yourself here in the beautiful city of Baku?
Absolutely, Alex. Baku is fantastic, and so this track. Have a check. The architecture, the narrow street. Easy to see why it's one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar. But Alex, street circuits can be unforgiving. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a safety car or two out during today's race.
And here are the driver grid positions for today's race. A fantastic effort from Christian Lundgaard yesterday puts him on pole position, with Jehan Daruvala alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ticktum, Armstrong, Felipe Dragovic, and Eilert, Sonoda, Matsushita, Sato, Jack Aitken, Schumacher, Piquet, Guan Yu Zhou, and Mazepin, Alesi, Samaya, Giotto, and Artem Markelov, Delatraz, and Sean Galeo, Nissani, and Robert Shwartzman completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
And after a terrible qualifying, here we are starting in last place for this feature race. And we'll see what we're going to do. It's going to be a last 2 question mark challenge, let's be honest. But strategy-wise, we're going to start on the super softs and then switch to the mediums. I think that's the mediums. I'm seeing the strategy from everyone, and it seems everyone is going to start on the super. So I was thinking maybe I should start on the harder comparative tire because I don't have nothing to lose. But I will really want to keep in the DRS range of these guys because that's the way to go around here, I reckon. But 5 red lights for the feature race, and we'll see what we can do in these next 15 laps. It was an okay start. We didn't gain as many that many positions as we go into turn 1, trying to go run outside of Roy Nissany. Everyone getting punched up, a free wide between Galeo Markelov and Louis Delatraz, as we are already gaining 1 position, and Galeo going a little bit slow, threading the needle, trying to go run outside for turn 2. And can we make the move on the Indonesian? Yes, we can, and that's already up into P20. So I'm trying to take it a little bit easy because I don't want to drop from the DRS window of these guys, because slipstream means so much around this track, as we're going to maybe try to send one down inside of Artem Markelov. A very late lunge. They go moved on, and that's us another position up into P19 we go. So like I was saying, it's so important to stay within 1 second of these guys, because once you lose the DRS and your and the car behind you is within 1 second, you're going to lose basically going to lose time to the guys ahead, and that's the race pretty much over unless you do something with the strategy, which can be really hard. But down inside we go off one of the shoes. I believe this is Pedro Pique. Cutting a little bit the corner, I'm not gonna lie, but anyway, we press on. We need to make these moves because we're not with a very healthy lead in the championship. We are in a position where we can lose the championship lead during this weekend, because at the moment we would start in P18 if the race had ended like this for the sprint race. So alarms are on at the moment. I really want to score at least 10 points would be really good, but it's going to be quite a challenge considering that the position that we are. But anyway, we're finishing our first lap, trying to keep up with Guilherme Samaya in the Campos. He's actually way up the order, so that is very impressive to see from Samaya. And hopefully we can get a very nice slipstream. I'm carrying a low downforce setup. I increased a little bit the wings because these F2 cars tend to be, a little bit understeer. But anyway, gaining on Samaya, and we'll see if we can make this move. He's going the fastest, so it seems that we're going to try to go run the outside, getting really close to his gearbox to get as much slipstream as we can. And we're going to brake, very confident on brakes as we lock up a little bit, but in the end of the day, thankfully we made the move on Samaya, and we are up into B17, and ahead of us we have Giotto and Guan Yu Zhou way down the order. Some of the guys that are really good in the real life F2 are way down the order. One of the case is Mick Schumacher, but this is our championship ride rival, I believe Nobuharu Matsushita, or is Felipe Drugovich. I'm not entirely sure at the moment, but I think it is Matsushita. Yes, it is Matsushita. I saw the Japanese flag momentarily as he's going to dive down inside, going side by side with Carlo Milot. And with the privileged view of this battle is Mick Schumacher, which has been struggling a lot in this career mode so far. And Matsushita has to sit behind and wait for another chance. Will he try to go up the inside of Ilot? No, he has to wait and leave 4-5 for another day and maybe wait for the next DRS zone, which it is a start-finish rate, which we are keeping up pretty nicely with Kyoto. We don't have DRS at the moment. Is going to be enabled once we start lap 3, which we are very close to do that, as we are gaining on look at Kyoto. Look at the power of the slipstream on this 2 kilometers straight, and he's going super defensive. We are very far from him as we were going side by side, but around the outside we go pretty easy, considering that it was so much on the left hand side of the track. So it would be a little bit of a shame if I didn't make that move up into P16, and we have a very long mountain to climb in this Grand Prix. But you know, it makes a video, let's be honest, it makes a video a little bit more entertaining for you guys, not really funny for me, because I have a championship you know, lead to defend, as Guan Yu Zhou gets really wrong at those corners, which are we have to lift on those on these F2 cars, I should say, and we had to slam a little bit on the brakes. Make sure to rewind the video and see how quick I was to slam on the brakes, not to lose a bit of my front wing. But anyway, we made the move on the Guan Yu Zhou, and we are up into P15, and you can see that we are outside of the 1 second window of Pedro Piquet. So we need to try to catch these guys as quickly as we can, as actually we made the move on Piquet, so I forgot to show you, so and apologies for that, I missed that on the editing, as Mazepin and the Lacey are going side by side, and Mazepin makes the move, and that allows us to get really close, not just to Mazepin but to the back of Giuliano Lacey. Try to get the best exit as I can, but he gets a really good one as well, and I have to sit behind it him, but it seems that he's gaining on Mazepin, but I think it's not going to be enough to try to make an overtaking attempt, and we might do so as we try to make a late lunge on the Lacey. He just about give us the room, and we are going side by side as Mazepin is already pulling away, so this is not really the best place to go side by side, but thankfully, finally we made the move. But you can see that we already dropped a lot of time to Mazepin. This is because my tires are also starting to fade away a little bit. On the lap 5 we're going to say goodbye to these super soft tires, but this first stint was really good. I was feeling very comfortable. You know, the slipstream staying within 1 second really helps a lot, and I'm really happy with this first stint. Makes some good moves, and we're making quick progress. You know, we're still outside of the points, but considering that F2 all the cars are basically the same, the only thing that differs it is the setup. I think I should be really happy with this stint, as we're going to jump Mazepin, you can see in the pit, but in the process we lost a position to the Trident of Marino Sato, so no, not many positions. But anyway, hopefully we can get the jump on the guys that stayed out, because the undercut, I should say, apologies, can be really powerful around here, because the tire wear is so high around here, because there's a lot of tracking zones, and your rear tires can be destroyed if you don't nurse them very well. And there he is, the undercut has worked. We overtook someone, because we're not anymore in P13, we are in P12, but I don't know at the moment who we jump. But anyway, we get a very bad lockup into turn 2, and this is going to allow Mazepin to try to get an overtaking opportunity as we go side by side. Look at the overspeed thanks to the DRS, and he's going to make that move done, and there's nothing that I can do unless Mazepin brake checks a little bit, so being a little bit, you know, Mazepin even in the game. But anyway, brake checkers, literally brake checkers in the middle of the apex. But anyway, this is for the lead of the race. This is one of the ITs going side by side with one of Khalid. I believe this is Christian Lundgaard trying to steal the lead of Jehan de Ruvola, and it seems that it wasn't a very good attempt, because he has to sit behind. But we are ready for round 2, and there he goes. He's going to try to send once again one down inside with a privileged view. We have Dan ticked him, and then behind him we have Felipe Drugovich. These two can get really in the fighting, because they are still going side by side, these two, and this can allow a 4-way fight for the race win. Our race is not being really good, but it's been really entertaining. These two, probably 4 AI cars, are giving a spectacular show at the moment. The Ruvola still remains in the lead of the race, so doing a very nice defending job, but you can see how close the top 4 now is. So the race is really spicy in the front part. You can see Lundgaard is already in the lead, and the Ruvola might be under pressure of Untitled as he's going to try to go run outside into the first corner, and he doesn't have enough tires to get that move done, and he has to sit behind P2. But you can see Lundgaard already in the lead, and with a safe gap already broke the DRS window of the Ruvala. About us, we are trying to press on as we have just 2 laps to go, and you can see that I'm struggling a lot. You can see Mazepin already 6 seconds ahead of us, so the pace on these mediums has not been the best, and we have a terrible exit, and there he goes, Alesi, and he's going to get P13, and it seems that we are in a lot of trouble as I'm trying to get this position, trying to thread the needle, but I don't have enough courage, and that could be a very nice, nasty crash indeed, and we have to sit behind. You can see that Alesi already 2.5 seconds in the space of 1 lap, so we're definitely in a lot of trouble as BK is trying to get this position. Zhou as well, getting a nice slipstream as I'm forced to leave a little bit of space. We made a little bit of contact as I'm defending, trying to set one down inside, stepping a little bit on the come down to settle a little bit the car, but somehow we find ourselves still side by side with PK, and I have to make a big dive home as we made a little bit of contact as I run out of grip, and I kind of forced to hit the left front of PK, so it was a little bit dirty for me, but you can see that I'm struggling a lot in this set of mediums, and you can see that this is already the last lap. Lundgaard is going to take the win, but this is for the final step of the podium. Here comes Felipe Drugovich, and he's going to get the final step of the podium over Untitled just on the line. Drugovich gets 3rd place, and this is why Untitled made a mistake in the final proper corner of the circuit, and this allowed Luka Drugovich go, and Untitled is going to be absolutely pissed when he watches this on the replay. But it's another podium for the Brazilian, which he is looking in a pretty good shape. In my career mode season, he actually looked pretty in a very good shape during his debut season in F2, but for us it was a terrible race. I did what I could, we got a lot of positions, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to score points, and we're going to start the sprint race. So a bit disappointed, it was a nightmare of the race, but let me say, I did what I could. It's just forgetting this race and focus already in the sprint.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Brilliant stuff from ART today. What a superb victory. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out of everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way round.
ART, the French team who have been racing since the 90s in various forms of motorsport, are once again back on the winner's podium today after a brilliant display of driving skill.
I was saying that was Christian Lundgaard that took the lead, but apologies, it is Marcus Armstrong that wins his first race of the season, followed by the Ruvala, and then Felipe Drugovich taking the final step of the podium in a great fashion, just on the line. Spectacular scenes in closing stage, and then about us, 0 points. If P14 is going to be our finishing position and where we're going to start in the sprint race. It was really bad day for us. I struggled a lot for pace, and it didn't happen to me in a while. It looked like the first race this season 2 of my team career mode. I struggled a lot for the tires. I was struggling in the braking zones, for grip, in everything. It happens sometimes to the championship lead. We already seen this in the real life F2, but in the team standings you can see that we dropped behind MP Motorsport. They actually level on points, so things are getting really spicy in the team standings. But anyway, it's time to focus in the sprint race and see if we can still get out of here at least with 1 point.
Welcome back for the final event of the weekend, the sprint race. Here, the top 8 from yesterday's feature race are reversed to make up the grid below us, and in just a few minutes, those drivers will be hurtling down into turn 1. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive, and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
And here we are, guys, on the grid, starting in P14 after a tower race. I think I did a pretty good feature race. The problem was just the mediums, which is the tire that we're going to do this sprint race. So hopefully it's not a recipe for disaster, and hopefully we can get out of here with still at least 1 point, because I already know that we're going to struggle a lot in this comparative tire. Mick Schumacher on the front row for the sprint race, 5 red lights for the final race of this round 5 of the F2 Championship, and it slides out, and there we go. Let's see if we can get a good start against Giuliano Lacey, but we're going to drive down inside as one of the Tridents. I believe it was the Sun. No, it is PK, apologies for that. Trying to go run outside as Schumacher is trying to get the lead of the Grand Prix, and we're going to dive down inside of Jack Aitken on the Campos, and there he is, moved down already up into P12, but you can see that Schumacher is trying to get the lead of this race and trying to get the first race win of the season. I don't know if he already won so far this season, but anyway, down inside we go of Marino Sato. What a beautiful dive bomb that we did on the Japanese, already into P11, but remember that only the top 8 scores points in the sprint race, so we really need to work hard in this race if we want to get out at least with 1 point. I already said this a million times, but anyway, this is for the I don't know, this is the train for ahead of us. I was saying the lead of the race, but it is not the case. These guys were going side by side, the Ruvala and Armstrong were going side by side in the feature race. They're going as well in the sprint one, as Mazepin is trying to get the position on the Ruvala, and his brake checkers once again. Mazepin, what are you doing? And we drop the position to Matsushita as are trying to get the position on a championship rival. We find now ourselves side by side with Sato, and now Sato is trying to go run inside of his compatriot, and there is absolutely chaos, mayhem in the streets of Baku, and we have to sit behind. We're already back into P12 as these two Japanese are still going at it, and this was all triggered by Nikita Mazepin, so quite ironic to see that Mazepin even does a bit of dangerous driving in the game. But anyway, this is Mazepin trying to go run outside of Matsushita. I think it's Matsushita that is trying to get the position on Mazepin, apologies for that, but we'll see if we can take the pieces of this battle, trying to get a good exit against Marino Sato, gaining the slipstream. Matsushita doesn't have DRS, so this is going to allow his compatriot to get another chance this time for round 2. Are we going to dive down inside? No, we're going to sit behind. There's no way that it is possible, free wide, and Matsushita gets a pretty shaky exit, and we are forced to slam a little bit on the brakes, and we have a little bit on the steer, but so we're going to dive down inside, the very aggressive move, and in the process Matsushita is going to drop a position to PK, so a little bit salty, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I should have left a little bit of more room, but it was everything in the heat of the moment. We're going to press on. We're still outside of the points, and we have a huge mountain to climb because we're already dropping a little bit behind Sato, but it could be P10 because someone is out of the race. You have a slow car. It is one of the Primas. It is our teammate Mick Schumacher, which he was trying to get the lead, as we have some yellow flags and we can't overtake. Now we can overtake because we have green flags as we're going run outside. Schumacher confirmation that he's out of the race, and we have the best time virtual safety car because we made a double overtake, and that virtual safety car came really in time. But there he is, Schumacher, very unfortunate. He was aiming for a win, probably taking his first win of the season, but that was a very well timed virtual safety car because we only just took the position on Mazepin. And here we are, we're already on the points in P8 thanks to Schumacher's DNF, and we have another yellow flag, so it seems that someone is out of the race. Another engine failure probably is getting some slipstream of Jehan Darul. We have a safety car, everyone is outside of the track, and I think there has been a huge crash because one of the dams is without a front wing. Drugovic, I believe, is out of the race, so that has been I think there's been, for sure it was a colossal crash. You can see one of the ITs was on the right hand side of the track, and this is why Tictum lost the back end, and you can see, oh, that is a big smash from Felipe Drugovic, and that, if it was real life, that would be an instant red flag because that is a terrible crash. But we're going to watch the replay of Felipe Drugovic. That was a huge crash, a huge T-bone crash. No, it wasn't really a T-bone crash, but that was a big smash, a huge crash. And that is a race over for Felipe Drugovic. And like I said, if this was real life, that would be an instant yellow flag. And you can see Tictum just lost on his own. It was like Matsushita in the last episode at Monaco. It just lost the car on its own. Probably maybe it was a problem with the DRS, you know, because the car gets a little bit unstable with the DRS open. But you can see, oh, that is a very, very nasty crash. You can see a lot of carbon fiber flying off the track, just showing you a lot of camera angles. This is the first camera angle that showed you just to see how bad this crash was. That is a very nasty view. That was real life. That would be maybe a completely different story. But anyway, this is thankfully a game, and the safety car is already coming in. We have some clouds now, but I can assure you that not going to be any rain, as we are trying to get the best restart as we can, going side by side with the Ruvel. We are up into P5 thanks to that very nasty incident, as the Ruvel is going defensive, but we're going to try to go run at that as we go into turn 1. This can be really close, as we are very close to the wall, but the Ruvel managed to keep that position, and we have to sit behind. We are in a very good position at the moment, but I really want more. I really want to get some good points at the end of this round 5, and this race has been really kind of a blessing of the skies, because we are in a position that we shouldn't be at the moment, thanks to Schumacher DNF and that huge crash that triggered the safety car. But we try to get the position on the Ruvel. It doesn't get a really good exit, and that is going to allow us to go down the inside, as we're dropping a lot on Yuki Tsunoda, and it seems that the chances to get a podium are starting to get a little bit slim, as you can see, as I was fast forwarding a little bit, the Ruvel tried to get a move on us, but you can see I was fast forwarding a little bit, and I forgot to put on normal speed on the cancel session, but you could see momentarily that we lost a bit of our front wing. We have orange damage, and we have still 1 lap to go, so it's going to be a real struggle for the rest of this race, because we have front wing damage. And here comes Jehan the Ruvel, and maybe Nikita Mazepin as well, because he's really close. And there he is. This can trigger 3 wide, no, because Mazepin is kind of boxed him and he doesn't have anywhere to go. He's already had enough incidents over the course of this weekend, let's be honest, as the Ruvel is going to dive down the inside. He's going to step a little bit, or come and turn a little bit into us, and we have even more damage, and our front wing is in a very bad state, and from now on we're going to be limping to the line, and you can see how much on the steer I have, and I think the Ruvel doesn't have any damage, so he's been pretty lucky. I believe he hit the wall, on the inside wall in turn 1, and there he comes again. He has the help of the DRS, and I'm going to try to do everything to hold around the outside, and I think I have enough traction to do that. I think my tires are in a pretty decent shape still, but you can see that how much I'm struggling, how much on the steer I'm having, as I'm trying to finish in P4. And at the moment that would mean that we would get 8 precious points, and that would be a really good result. But you can see that I have to lift in this very high speed left-hander, and now this is maybe the trickiest part of the track, because it's a downhill and braking zone, and it is very understeer already with the full front wing, as we have not really a corner to go, because these final 2 corners that we're going to have in the last sector are going to be a huge challenge. And here comes Jehan the Ruvel. You can see they have to slam on the brakes in order to brake, and the Ruvel tried to go on the inside, and he hits the wall. The Ruvel hits the wall, and Mazepin might get that position. He is already ahead of the Indian. There he goes. He's going to get P5, and everyone is get bunched up. Look how close it is. Maybe this is maybe the top 8. I don't know, but the Ruvel is going to finish just about in P6 in the very dramatic end of this race, and we're going to watch the replay. The Ruvel tried to go on the inside, which it wasn't the smartest thing to do, let's be honest, and Mazepin took the chance and then finished in P5. And I think if I was the Ruvel, I should have waited for the DRS zone, because I would get that position pretty easily, because I was going super slow on that left-hander.
Difference today, there's no doubt about it. I can be certain, but it would have been a very different race, and probably podium 2 without it. What I do know is that they came out of that situation in a favorable position. The safety car really does alter the balance of the race.
An amazing race today, and a very well-deserved one too. The team worked very hard to get exactly the right setup out of the F2 car. It works for them, and the results speak for themselves. ARTGP winners today.
Oh boy, drama after drama at Baku. Oh my. Yeah, what was this race? Schumacher DNF, he could have well got to win. I don't know if he was in the lead, but he was in 2nd place at least. Then we had that very nasty crash, that bad crash, which eliminated Drugovic of the race. And Dan Tickton actually got a drive-through penalty to that contact, which it wasn't pretty fair. It was a bit of a racing incident, that's a huge smash. But for us, yeah, a very dramatic end. getting a little bit punchy. I was trying to get to, also pushing a lot to get to maybe a miraculous P3, but anyway, despite all that disaster, we gained points on Matsushita, our closest rival, and you're going to see the championship standings. We are 20 points ahead of the Japanese at the end of this episode, but these guys are starting to get a little bit closer and closer, and that's what I want and you guys want, because we don't want to see just me and Matsushita. We want to see more drivers battling for the first place, and hopefully that is going to be the case, and hopefully they are going to start to get closer and closer in these next few episodes. But guys, that has been episode 5 of my F2 2020 career mode as Robert Shwartzman, a very entertaining Azerbaijan Grand Prix for sure. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash like and subscribe to see plenty more Formula 1 content. Really motivates me to make more, and if you could do that, I would be very thankful, as we're getting really close to the 1k subscribers, so let's try to get that ASAP. But that has been me for today. My name's Tom, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time, but for now, take care.